my goodness gracious, scorekeepers. It is time for another episode of your favorite podcast, The Score. Welcome to it. Oh my goodness gracious. Y'all, I'm tired. It's been a long week, but I am re-energized because I get to be in a space with the two of you. But who are we? We are, you know who we are. I am Rocky Jones. I'm the EDI director at Minnesota Opera. I'm here with my two amazing co-hosts, the lovely and talented Paige Reynolds, Iyawo Inawale. How are you doing today, my good friend?
You know, I'm all right. I'm out here, scratching and surviving,
Well, you said you were up till 4 in the morning last night.
Exactly. Keeping
What?
my head above water, making a way. Yes.
Why were you up so late? I hope you were doing something fun.
I was doing something, kind of fun, but like mostly really meaningful. Me and my partner are working on launching the Birth Revolution doula training.
Yes.
Yay! But it is the inaugural cohort, and we are still finishing the curriculum, writing it, downloading all the information that's in our brains, and trying to put it into complete English sentences that other people will understand.
All right.
It's a task.
Yes, yes. But that sounds amazing though.
Yeah,
I can't
absolutely.
wait. You're gonna help so many people. That's gonna be so awesome.
It is
Yeah.
amazing. Through all the hard work, we just keep encouraging each other by saying, this is going to be so good. This
Mm-hmm.
training is so good. Look at this. This is
Mm-hmm.
the training we wanted to take. This is so awesome. I know
Mm-hmm.
it's hard right now, but this is so good. This is so good. So, yeah.
Well, and we know there was a little bit of drama earlier this week. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but we know that all doula trainings are not necessarily as inclusive as they could be.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
So I
I
think
will
what you're
gladly
doing is
talk about
so
that.
important.
Thank you. I will gladly talk a little bit about that later. Yeah.
All right. All right.
Well, as a person who was born, I am very, very happy to have you on the case to make sure that A, more people are born, and B, more people of color are working to bring those lives into existence.
Amen. Ashe.
Mhm.
And of course, that voice, the dulcet, silky tones of the Chief Education Officer at Lincoln Center, Lee Bynum. Hello, Lee.
Hello, America.
How are you? Oh,
Hey,
wait. Or I should say, Professor Lee Bynum.
oh yeah,
Right?
that
Excuse me.
that little thing happened too
Excuse
this
me,
week.
Professor. Professor,
Professor
Doctor,
Doctor.
Reverend.
Silky nutmeg ganache.
Right. What's next? Reverend Esquire.
Well, congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you. I'm super excited about it. For those of you who are not following me on Instagram, everybody underscore loves underscore Lee. First of all, shame on you. And secondly, let me update you. I will be teaching at Indiana University in the fall. I am teaching the first course on ethics in grant making, and I'm super excited
Okay.
about it, having spent 10 years in philanthropy and making a lot of observations around inequity
Oh,
and
yeah.
like a general lawlessness that comes from working in any industry that isn't regulated. For those of you who don't know, philanthropy as an industry, there are no regulations. A couple of
Yeah.
pieces of the IRS code are basically the only things that offer any kind of guidance or guardrails, and not everybody uses philanthropy in a way that is beneficial, right? It's very possible to uh, reify very, very negative aspects of American
Mhm.
society. with, the philanthropic arm. And I really appreciate this opportunity to push back on that and have people approaching their work through an ethical lens. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's a really, really diverse group of students. I came in there and saw that I was not the only Black person in the room. And as I looked around, there were a lot of us, both on the faculty and the group
Hey,
ed students. So I was like, okay, maybe I've made a very good decision.
Yeah.
we
So
love to see it.
yes, we
Mhm.
do.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Congratulations.
congratulations.
Thank you.
That's so important, the ethical grant making, because I don't know how many times, especially my artist friends, like
Hmm.
I have a little experience with grant making because it was one of my jobs. I don't know how many times I've looked at the grants that they are filling out and had to be like, girl, it's not you. This grant is just poorly written and set up.
Hmm.
Like,
Mhm.
I'm like, it is not you, it is not your skills, it is truly this is just a badly written grant. So shout out to people like you, Lee. Please save
Thank
us.
you.
Yes, yes. Well, y'all are out here doing such big, important things.
Well, what
I
were you
am.
out here doing? I saw that you were traveling, going places, talking to people, seeing
This is
things.
Rocky
true.
serving muscles and legs on Instagram. That's what
Hmm.
Rocky
Well,
doing.
well,
Rocky getting ready
it's
for Hot Boy Summer.
it's I'm doing important things in different ways. I'm serving the people in different ways.
Yes.
No, I don't know. I was traveling. I was in New Orleans for the Art Equity alumni convening last
Yay.
week, which was a wonderful, wonderful experience. I'm sure we have talked about Art Equity on this program before, but they are a nonprofit that provides EDI and activist training to art makers all over the country. And they do all sorts of facilitator training, and there's a BIPOC leadership circle where, people of color in the arts get together and talk about what's happening in our industry and the things we can do to lead and to help to shape a brighter tomorrow. There's board trainings, there's all sorts of wonderful things, and hopefully we can have some folks from Art Equity on the program at some point so they can tell
That's a great
you
idea.
about their wonderful, wonderful program. But I was there, I was surrounded by all sorts of wonderful Blackness and Latineness and indigeneity and AAPI-ness. That doesn't sound right, but
We get the sentiment.
yes, thank you. And of course our plenty of our white allies in this fight, and just talking about the the struggles that we are facing as EDI practitioners, as justice focused warriors in this fight. And there was a lot of crying, and there was a lot of hugging, a lot of thinking about in talking about what's happening in this industry, the way that a lot of people of color are being, what is the word I want to use? Yeah, forced out of these
Mhm.
institutions for various reasons, and being replaced by white folks who do not have a strong racial analysis and want to uphold the status quo, and just sort of the state of access in EDI is frustrating, to say the
Mhm.
least.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and so it was nice to go to a space and not feel crazy, and to be
Mhm.
able to talk to people who um are seeing and feeling a lot of the same things that I am seeing and feeling, and to be able to talk about solutions in a city that is super Black and surrounded by good food and friendly people and just beauty and color and to feel the warmth of the sun on my skin. My God.
Yes.
My God, my God. We were able to take, tours around Center City and Treme and, go stand in Congo Square and walk around the Ninth Ward and, see all of that and meet so many just wonderful, wonderful people. Got into Dookie Chase without a reservation, which I have to say, shout out to Michael Wynn, because that was all
Magic.
him. my
Michael be
dear
making stuff
friend.
happen.
I mean, it was incredible. Because we were like hungry and we were like, well, we're in New Orleans. We want to go to Dookie Chase because obviously, because we're in New Orleans.
Legendary.
And so I called up and I was like, we don't have a reservation. Is there like a bar maybe we could sit at? And they were like, what? And so I hung up and we were just like, well, maybe let's just get in a lift and just go over there and see what happens. And so we get there and there is a sign on the front door that's like, don't even try it. If you don't have a reservation, don't do it. Don't open the store. Don't waste your time. Don't waste our time.
Except go somewhere else.
We don't have it. And so, being the Sagittarius that I am, I looked at that sign and I said, do you think they really mean that though? Like, really? And so we go in and like the hostess is standing there and she's looking at us like, these fools, are you really gonna try me like this? And Michael just went up and was just like, we read the sign. I know. I get it. But we came all the way over here and we just had to try. We just had to see if there was anything that we could do. And she just looked at us and there was something where I just felt very seen in that moment. And she just goes, two of you. And I think like in her head, it was just like, these two nice young Black men, they just need some good food. All right, come on in.
Come on, baby.
Come on.
I was about to say that New Orleans hospitality got the best of her.
It really did. She said, all right. But I think because we came in and without a reservation, we were sat in the section with our waitress was in training. I think it was probably her first or second day. Shout out to Miss Candy. We support Miss Candy. She came out. There were several things we ordered that never came out. Oh, no. But that's okay. She brought us the wrong cocktails. We were ready to just drink them. And then her supervisor, Miss Keisha, came over and said, these are for table 41. And she was like, where's table 41? Oh, wow. But the food and the drinks that we did get were amazing. That fried chicken changed my life. It was, I mean, I have had good fried chicken, but that chicken. I just don't have words. And the greens, child, go to Dookie Chase. That's all I have to say about that. And then I was feeling so good that I was at the gym and I was just like, why don't I just do a little thirst trap for the people? So
yes.
So it was a good week. But yeah, no, New Orleans was incredible. Not a bad meal. I see why you want to work there or live there, rather.
Yeah. Well, see why anyone would just want to be there all the time,
all
at
the
any time.
All the time.
Like, yeah. I wish I could have been there.
I know.
I
know you were missed.
Fam. It's been a minute. But from what you described is absolutely what I expect.
Yeah.
A lot of depth, a lot of love,
a lot of dancing,
a lot of dancing, a lot of chance to
Beyonce.
commiserate, which is nice too. A lot of good food. I believe everyone in our equity seems to believe in good food, which I appreciate.
The last day there was a lot of singing. A brass band came in, and we were just dancing in the space. And then they sort of I don't know, kind of a busted second line, but it was fun. And we went outside in the street, and we were all just kind of dancing, and it was super fun. I got to go to Bourbon Street, and nobody got, murdered or robbed. There were just, some very inebriated 21-year-olds having fun.
Yeah.
That's what your 20s are for.
Yes, God bless them. God bless them. But I can say that I was there. And I did not know that the first gay bar in America was in New Orleans. And so we went and had a drink there.
I didn't know that either. Cool.
Yeah, Lafitte in Exile.
Huh. Is that's the one in on the French Quarter?
Yes, it's on Bourbon Street.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Bourbon Street, I'm glad you got to go. And I don't know how you felt about it, but at this point, I feel like it's like the Times Square of New Orleans.
Yes.
And so you probably feel like, okay, I've been there, seen it, done it, lived 100%. It, loved it, and
never have to go back.
Will not be back.
Again. In my life.
Will not be back. Yeah.
Never have to do that again. But I'm glad I did. I'm glad I saw it.
Yay. Go over to Frenchman Street with the cool kids next time.
Yes, that is what Samuel said to do. And I did not listen to Samuel. Shout out to Samuel. But next time. But I mean, there's just so much to do. I could never get it all done in 4 days. So
never.
Yeah. Well, we have an interesting show today. Because I think for the first time in the Their Story,
nice one, James.
We had a wonderful guest all lined up, and we got a message that they are unfortunately sick and cannot join us. And
COVID is still here, y'all. I think it's worth saying.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%. It's also kind of wild, though, that's the first time this has happened to us.
We started the show in the middle of a pandemic. It's crazy.
Otherwise, the people been taking care of their health. The arts community ain't been playing for this to be the first time for this to happen.
But yes, everyone mask up. It's not a joke at all. But yeah, so I mean, we're just gonna kind of wing it today. Let's
have a kiki.
So it's just gonna be the three of us, and we're just gonna, play some games. And I think we're gonna do a supersized Pure Black Joy, which. That sounds fun to me. And I feel like, Iyawo, you and I did that once last year, and it was well received.
Yeah.
All PBJ all the time. So,
love Black Joy? Who doesn't love Black Joy?
I mean, I'm just saying.
I mean, there probably are some people.
I can tell you very specifically.
Well, yes. Okay.
Sitting right over there in that House of Representatives, but that's all I'm gonna say about that.
There is a segment of the population that does not appreciate Black Joy, but I cannot imagine that they are among our listenership.
No, they're all the more reason for us to celebrate it here right now. Yeah.
So stick with us. It's going to be a super fun show, and we'll be right back with a game. Yeah, let's play some games. And we're back. If you were here with us last episode, so Dennis and I, my husband, we bought a little icebreaker game for cocktail parties. It's called Honey, Everything You've Always Wanted to Know About Your Partner. And it's just like honey. Yeah, I sound just like her, right? Honey, when you watch it over me. And yeah, it's just full of like little icebreaker questions. And I figure because we're podcast partners, why not take some time to get to know us, like just some random fun facts about us.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's fun.
Right?
super cute.
Yeah, that's fun, right? All right, so I'm just going to pick one at random, okay? And then
Mhm.
we're all going to answer it. Okay. Would you jump out of a plane if you received a skydiving trip as a birthday present?
And there's no option B.
There
My
is no
God.
option B. It's yes or no.
I would not. Don't give me that as a birthday present. Save your money. I don't want that.
But you wouldn't feel bad. You wouldn't feel obligated, this person.
No, I wouldn't feel bad because anybody who gives me that gift either doesn't know me or doesn't like me. Like there is absolutely no way that I would be jumping out of an airplane. Absolutely not.
Honestly, I don't know. Because actually my thoughts about skydiving are immediately fear. But but it is also like I'm a sucker for things that like it's like I wouldn't get a chance to do this again, probably. Or I know I wouldn't book this for myself. You know. And so once the chance goes, you know, that might be it. So I don't know. It could be the kind of thing that I could absolutely see myself saying yes. And then at the last minute being absolutely terrified. And the whole way, I'm just wondering why? I could have said no. Why? Literally jumping out the plane going, why? Oh my God, I'm doing it. What the hell? Why? Yeah, so I might do it.
For me, absolutely, without question. Actually, feel free to give that to me as a birthday present because that sounds like, yeah, no, that sounds fun as hell. Are you kidding? That sounds
last
awesome.
Birthday present.
Well, if it is my last birthday present, then my husband and my mama will get a whole bunch of money. That's fine.
And my thing about stuff like that is like, you know, at least you going out like a badass.
I mean, I'm just saying.
My only thing is I can't go out like no punk. That's all.
Like, can you imagine like jumping on here? Can you imagine jumping on here and being like, we dedicate this show to our dearly departed podcast partner, Rocky Jones. He died skydiving. Oh, oops. He died skydiving. Like, I mean, that's a story, right? And everybody
Sagittarian energy, big Sagittarian energy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I guess on the other side of the zodiac, it's I don't know what to tell y'all because my whole intro would be like, it's a shame what happened to Rocky, and it's a shame he didn't listen to me.
Okay, well, that's some Aquarian energy right there.
We just gonna get out here like, I told him.
No, but I mean, seriously, it sounds fun, and I've always said that like my ideal like amazing race partner, I will happily do the bungee jumping and the skydiving and like the eating weird bugs and stuff. All I need you to do is drive stick. Like, that's fine.
You know, I don't even know how, but I can learn because I enjoy driving. Let's go on Amazing Race, Rocky. I think we might be a good balance.
I think we would be a formidable team.
Yeah.
And I feel like we communicate well.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the key to that game.
Oh,
is to like, you know, when you're lost in like the middle of the Sahara Desert, like to be able to actually have like a conversation about how are we going to get through this instead of just screaming at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we'd be able to help reel each other in. Like, let's focus. Getting to the bag.
Yes.
Remember.
I ate snails for you. I did not eat those scorpions and cockroaches for us to come in second. All right. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh God, we could be here all weekend.
Yeah,
Give me a minute.
I figured this would be
just
a
one?
juicy one. I figured this would be a juicy one.
I can think of a probably fairly simple, uncontroversial one. Littering. Littering, especially when people like actively do it in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
The way I will stop everything that is going on and be like, did you really just throw that on the ground in front of my face? Right in front of my salad? Like, I just I remember I had an ex who did it once. Like, he threw something on the ground, and when I say that I saw the whole relationship flash before my eyes, I saw when I say before I even said anything, I thought to myself, oh, this isn't gonna last.
It's the ick. It's the ick.
We didn't even have any, larger problems at that point yet. But in that moment, that was the red flag that I knew. I said, oh, this can't. It's not gonna go anywhere. I mean, given when I made a big deal about it, he did in fact pick it up, and put the trash in its appropriate place. But I just can't. I can't deal with that for a multitude of reasons. One, what did Mother Earth do to you? Two, it is 2023 and I'm never out in the boonies in the middle of nowhere where we can't find a trash can. And three, it's just like, what the heck is your problem?
Yeah, it's the entitlement for me.
Yeah.
Like, I can't just like, put this tissue in my pocket for a few minutes until like I'm inside or something. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I will make the inside of my purse look like a raccoon den with how much trash fills up in there before I throw out all my trash on the ground. I'm gonna just have to wait. It's just what it is. I'm not gonna do it.
I never really watched that show, Mad Men, but I did see a clip once of like they were having a picnic in the park and they leave and he just takes the blanket with all the trash and stuff and just shakes the blanket out, all the trash onto the grass, and just folds up the blanket and they leave. And I was just like, is that how things were like in the 50s or the 60s? Did people just do that?
Sheesh.
It was insane.
Well, no wonder where we are now.
I mean, there is a through line.
Cause and effect.
Should I go next? Because I have a feeling you might need a minute for this one.
Yeah.
Okay. I think for me, it really is like when I like have an idea or have a solution to a problem, like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we did this? Like, if the person I'm talking to immediately starts pointing out all of the problems, like immediately.
Oh my God, yes.
Like, I'm just like, wouldn't it be fun if we went to Rome? And it's like, well, but we'd have to do this, and then we'd have to do that, and we'd have to do this, and it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of blah, 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 blah. And it's like, could we just like be together and thinking about like going to Rome and how fun and cool that would be before you just like take a poop all over my idea? Like, that would be great. Could we just sit and think and ponder that for a minute? Or at least like preface that with like, that's a great idea. Have you thought about? But even then, it's just that I think it's closed-mindedness.
Mm-hmm.
Really,
Mm-hmm.
it's such an unattractive trait to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I guess is big Sagittarius energy. Because I'm all about like expansion. Let's try the thing and see if it doesn't work. Um, yeah, I think just closed-mindedness, just in general, in all aspects of life, what we are seeing across the political spectrum, and just that rigidity of thought. Um, I just feel like it doesn't do any good. It doesn't help us at all. So yeah, I think that's my biggest pet peeve in people.
Absolutely. I've been there. And I feel like the people who like who reacted that way, it made me also not want to tell them nothing else.
Yeah,
It made me like
exactly.
not want to share. Like, I especially like when you share things that are important to you or that you're excited about, it's like, well, dang, like
Mhm.
you can't be
Well, have you thought
happy for
about this?
me.
Like, well, maybe I've thought about it,
Right.
but like,
We're in the ideation phase, okay? Like, chill.
we're brainstorming. There's no bad ideas. Life is a big brainstorm.
Right. Yeah, those same people, I definitely hesitate after that when I
Mhm.
feel like I might share a hope or dream or desire with them. I'm like, but I remember that one time you shut me down, and I don't need that energy right now.
No,
I don't
no,
need that energy.
no.
I feel you.
All right, my Saturnian friend.
Oh dear. I couldn't possibly pick one thing, so I'm just going to say the general category of people getting cute with me. I just don't
Oh.
like it. I just don't like it.
That's a good one.
Ooh,
Yeah.
and it's a big one. Yeah, and lots of things fit in there. Some small, right? Like, somebody deciding to um, enter into an interaction passive aggressive behavior. Like I am not really not crazy about that. For some reason, it's like a switch in my attitude. And once it happens, it's very hard to turn that switch back at any point ever in the rest of the time I know that person.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it happen.
Yeah,
The definition of keeping that energy.
Yeah.
Like, don't reach for the switch. Don't do it. Like, okay. All right. Switch is flipped. All right.
That's it. Well,
My ears are getting red just thinking about certain things. And a thing happened just this week with somebody who I thought was a perfectly lovely person who got brand spanking new with me on Monday and was very surprised that our interactions were different on Tuesday.
Wow.
And I think that there's a continuum of surprise that she is in store for, and we will leave it at that.
Oh, ooh. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't care for the tone she selected for that email. Did not.
Ooh, well, a storm's a brewing.
Especially as sweet as I am in emails. Like I like triple read emails in text just to make sure that I'm aware of the tone, because I know you like once it's done, right? It's done, right? And once you have, what we used to say in the South, talk to somebody crazy, there is no turning that train around. And I wish more people could sit with that, the reality that relationships are delicate things, especially when they're not close relationships, where you can lean on other aspects of interactions to sort of buttress the occasional complicated interaction, right? When it's somebody you don't really know, or you only interact around one thing, and perhaps they were having a bad day, any number of things could happen, but then you brought me into it, and now what are we going to do?
And I'm willing to sort of set it aside if it's like, you send me something crazy, I respond, and you respond with, hey, look, I was having a bad day, or I was frustrated, or I'm whatever. I'm sorry, that was not cool of me to do. Like, I can forgive having a bad day if you come to me and you are accountable and you apologize. Then we can move on. We're all human. I certainly have had my moments where I was not, working at my highest vibration. But but I don't know. Like, I don't understand. I think this is another pet peeve of mine. I don't understand people that can't apologize.
Yeah, I think that's weird. I think
I am
that's
the
weird too.
first person, and maybe it is just because I am Black and queer, and that is what I have been socialized to do. But I'm very quick to apologize if I'm wrong, and I feel like I am genuinely wrong. And even if I don't feel like I'm genuinely wrong, like, if that's what you need to move forward, cool. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. Now, can we like continue doing what we need to do? But like, I have had so many interactions, especially here in the Midwest over the last couple of years, where somebody will send me an email that is crazy, and y'all both have seen some of those because and I have responded, and what I do, I mean, I'm a Virgo Mars, so I keep my receipts. People think I'm fun because I'm a Sagittarius. No, honey, don't try me. And I present them with the receipts, like, here is all of the reasons why what you said what you said, and what you said was some BS. And then just radio silence.
Yeah.
And then you come and you play in my face like, oh, hi, how are you? Oh my God, I need your help with this, or can you do this? And I'm just like, and we're not going to talk about that insane interaction that we just had. Okay. Well, I don't know what to do for you. I don't know what to do for you.
Yeah. I told somebody I had a similar I guess scenario, Lee, of having someone talk to me a little crazy. Or it was also, that presumptuousness that I do not like. And I like immediately something switched in my mind where I'm just like, oh, I'm not interacting with this person the same way from now on, because I didn't like that. But as I was reviewing just like the course of like what this person has said and stuff, I was just like, this reads like you're not used to people setting a boundary with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or this reads like you're used to being able to talk just any kind of way. And maybe people keep a certain level of, I think maybe people front about their level of annoyance with you, or because this is such like a conflict avoidant, kind of culture, and so I'm realizing like all kinds of behaviors are getting people just letting it fly, know, because it's just like this cycle of passive aggressiveness, and I'm not going to do that.
Absolutely not.
I'm either just going to stop communicating with you altogether, or I'm going to set a hard boundary.
I refuse to participate in anything like that, and I don't know if it's like zodiacal or if it's something in the Caribbean genome. I just know that I can't go there with people, right? And I don't understand the cycle of like, I'm going to talk to you crazy, and then I'm going to act like we're supposed to be best friends. Let's do some huggy. So a few weeks ago, I came back to the North Loop to see, Kalia's beautiful piece, The Song Poet.
Yes.
Ran into somebody who had literally spent the previous 22 months talking to me crazy via email. who seemed very surprised that I didn't seem happy to see them, right? And it was kind of, well, what did you think? What did you think our relationship was? All those times that we were having very uncomfortable interactions, and for professional reasons, we had to continue interacting, and there was some tongue biting happening, and then all of a sudden, now we're good Judies. I do not understand that formulation of the universe, that particular analysis of our own history, this moment of interacting for 2 seconds when we very easily could have just both walked past each other and got our drinks and gone back and, sat with our partners and said what we wanted to say about the other person, like normal people. Like, I didn't understand why that wasn't the thing.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
I know, like, as I'm telling this story, but I think it's a cautionary tale,
Yes.
right? And all it takes is, again, before you send an email, read it, right? There have been times that I have been beside myself at work. I wrote out what I wanted to say. I got it out. It felt good. I reread the email, deleted all of it, and then said something else, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely. But sometimes, there is a moment where it's like, I am angry and I need you to know that I'm angry about whatever it is that has happened. That is okay.
Factual.
Yeah.
Anger in and of itself
Factual.
is a useful emotion. It inspires change. It helps, set and enforce boundaries. Anger in and of itself is not a bad thing. Conflict in and of itself is not a bad thing. But you do have to, I say this to my Aries moon husband all the time. And I feel like we're getting real zodiacal. But it's like, you want to burn down the house and then you feel better about it 30 seconds later because you got whatever it is that you needed out. I'm standing here in the ruins of a burned down house. And so we're going to need to talk about the burned down house, even though you feel, I'm so happy you feel better that you got that emotion out. And it's just
no, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say but we have to talk about the anger. We can't just sweep it under the rug. We can't, and that's the thing that I can't deal with, where it's just you walk past that person and they're like, hi, how are you? And in my mind, I'm thinking about when you called me everything but a child of God 2 weeks ago in that email. And we're just gonna sit here and be like, kiki, haha. No, that's not what this is.
My dad, the original Dr. Bynum, used to say, explain your anger before you express your anger, right? And I always feel like it's so much more effective if you can pull somebody aside and just say very directly, hey, this happened in the interaction, really wasn't comfortable with it. This is a way that we can move forward, right? I really don't like that whole, I'm going to burn the house down and now I feel better and we're just supposed to somehow move on, or, pretending that arson didn't happen. And I'm also not, I just can't do that with people. I used to have a friend who, go ahead, sorry.
No, we're just gonna say, what has your life been? Have you just been going around burning down houses this whole time, and everybody's just been like, oh well, I guess we don't have houses anymore?
Apparently, right? Because it's not an uncommon behavior. And to your earlier point, Rocky, about Blackness and queerness, I really feel like there is a way that, as Black queer people, so much is projected onto us, not just in the world, but specifically at work. It was like we were talking about before with, taking a headshot where I wasn't smiling and being very worried about how people would receive that, right? And so I err on the side of apologizing, trying to be very kind, being very open and transparent, because I know that there is so much baggage that is literally attached to my body. But I think the need to do that allows people sometimes to feel like they can do you, right? And I really don't think that that's the exchange. If I am aware that this is how I am being read in professional spaces, I just really want other people who I work with to be aware of how they're coming off as well, right? It doesn't take anything more than effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Choose your words.
Choose it and choose them carefully.
Wise.
And
I love
if you don't, be aware that there may be consequences. That's all I'm saying.
Period.
Or actually, exclamation point. Like, it's kind of serious.
Right.
or ellipsis. All right, should we do one more?
Yeah.
Okay, here's one that's kind of sweet, I think.
Oh.
Do you believe in love at first sight?
Ooh.
Ooh, another nice and short one.
Mm?
No.
No?
No, I don't believe in love at first sight. No.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't. I feel like, and maybe this is, Damien said something about me needing to be warmed up in a sense, right? Like I often will like somebody in a first interaction, but I am very circumspect about people and kind of always have been. So I meet people, I may be interested, I might, feel like we are vibrating on a similar frequency. But I don't know, I think maybe the ability to let go completely that may be required of my personality to be able to get these words out about love at first sight, it's not really native to me. So, I become very cautiously optimistic. I made a new friend last week and I like him. He's absolutely delightful. And I'm cautiously optimistic that we will get to be good friends over time. But I also know that this is Earth and this is America. And as we have established, people will get brand spanking new with you for no good reason. And that extends to people in the romantic sphere as well. You never know who you're talking to, who might be married, might be a serial killer, might chew with their mouths open. I mean, any number of things that are just absolutamente no. So yeah, I need to see what you're like in reality before I'm gonna even let my brain think about some love.
Fair enough. I mean, that's all very rational. Makes a whole lot of sense.
It's about the answer I expected from you. I'll say for me, I think I do believe in love at first sight. I do not think it's common at all. Except for maybe in the case of I think of parenthood and what it's like when a new life comes into the world and you're just immediately like, I will do anything for that being. So I think that's probably the only case in which it's common. But as for the rest of it, like, I believe in it, but I think it's super uncommon. I think it's super rare because just my definition of love has to do too much with like action, and like being willing to like nurture the overall well-being of another. And like that's not something that's often established at first sight. And, because I'm, spiritual person and whatnot, and I believe that, there are miracles, amazing, magical things that happen on this earth every day. Do I think that there are maybe some people who are, I don't know, destined for each other in some way, or just have such a strong pull to each other that they just immediately know? And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships either, like friendships too. I've had people who, honestly, now that I think about it, I have people who are friends that I feel like it was almost like love at first sight. Like we felt like pretty much immediately that we were going to be friends. I could think of a few people like that, actually. And so, it's that, I just don't feel like love is that infatuation feeling. It's like that feeling of, I want to be in this with you. And like this life thing, with you. And I am willing to, work on our relationship and work on myself and address the things that I need to address in myself in order to love you properly, And I do think like occasionally people meet each other and that like immediately happens. Yeah.
That would have made a great interlude on the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Thank you. That's such a compliment. You know what? I feel like that's almost like when I think of when that album came out and how much I was listening to it, it probably did influence how I talk about love. You're like 4 years old and you listen to people be like, well, I think love is. And Lauryn Hill saying deep things in your ear and all that. So
that just makes me think of our show art and how I'm the prize on our show art and he's going to jail. Anyway, getting back to the question.
Wait, we all heard about the recent news about Pros.
Yes, we
did. Just making sure.
Yes, that's what I meant. He's going to jail.
Yeah. International crime. Yikes.
I mean, international espionage. Girls.
My God.
Anyway, love.
Yeah.
It's interesting you bring up different kinds of love, like familial love, friendship, versus romantic love. I mean, I definitely believe, when it comes to like family and, new babies and whatnot, like, that completely makes sense to me. And I think I've also probably had that feeling when it comes to friendship. I feel like I've been in situations where I have met somebody and been like, I'm sure I've said it to y'all, like, oh, let's be best friends, and like meant it. Can we be best friends? I mean, like that just happened to me like when I was in New Orleans with my brand new friend Michael. Shout out to Michael at the Children's Theater. And like at the end of the weekend, like I gave him a big hug and I was like, I love you, can we be best friends? And now we're going to get brunch on Sunday. So but when it comes to like romantic love, I mean, I believe that it's possible perhaps for some people. I don't know if that's necessarily ever happened to me. I know I have certainly experienced lust at first sight, and perhaps those feelings of infatuation. I believe like the weekend of my 30th birthday, I met a gentleman on Grindr and we seemed to have lots of things in common. And I said, I'm going to marry him someday. And we went on one date and then he ghosted me. Oh. And on that date, was joking that like, I'm going to go sleep with Rocky because Rocky was the name of his dog. And I said, why would you go on a date with me then? Knowing this information, sir. That was upsetting. We didn't fall in love.
Hence my point.
Yes.
But it's funny, like as you were talking, I thought about how many friends I have, like close friends, who started as either rivals or people who I actively was not crazy about. And like this goes all the way back to like probably the closest friend I've ever had in my life. Like the day we met in PE class, she started throwing footballs at my head for no reason.
That's how me and my high school best friend met. When I would be leaving the gym, she would push me into the wall every time. And I would be like, oh God, she's coming. She's going to push me. And now, like 30 years later, we're still best friends, text every day, going to Beyonce together.
So yeah, that hate at first sight, I probably know just a hair more about that, but it's almost always a guarantee that I'm going to be like good friends with somebody if like the first interaction we have, they are immediately on my nerves. So maybe it's a good sign as many people and things get on my nerves as they do, actually.
Well, maybe it's just like somebody who inspires like big emotion, no matter what it is.
Yeah, I like that. Let's go with that.
Well, you know who I love? Me. And both of you and all of our listeners out there. And I also love Black people and places and things. And I think this is a good place to maybe take a quick break so we can get our druthers together so we can talk about all of those Black people and places and ideas and music and food and culture and art and things that are making us happy this week, because we'll be right back with a supersized Pure Black Joy. Woohoo! Woohoo! All right, and we are back, and it is time for our favorite segment. Paige, are you ready?
Ready.
All right. And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. PB&J time.
Yes. That is
I like that tagline the most. I like that the most. We're going to stick with that.
Okay. Smooth like peanut butter. Yes, it is time for Pure Black Joy. For those of you who perhaps might be new to the podcast, we like to end every podcast with a moment of Black joy, because, you know, a lot of the times we are talking about things that are definitely unpleasant, racist and white supremacy and all of those really, really tough things. And it can be really, really easy to just sort of wallow in the struggle. But as we know, the story of Black folks here in America is one of struggle, but it is also one of joy and color and music and seasoning and excitement and cool S word. So we want to always end our show, no matter what we're talking about, with creating a space that highlights all of those things. So since we don't have a guest this week, we decided to do sort of a supersized version of that. And who wants to go first?
Me.
Okay.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
So we had had a conversation before we started recording about one story, and as we went through it, it started to seem slightly less joyous. So I'm switching to one of my mini backups.
Okay.
And this one is about a little college in New Haven, Connecticut. Some of you may have heard of it. Some of you may have not. Yale University. They have given an honorary.
Is it Yale? I thought it was Yale.
I think it rings a bell. I think. Connecticut, right? Okay.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
They deserve it. The trustees of the university have decided to give honorary master's degrees to the two first African Americans who attended the school over 186 years ago.
Wow.
One is going to the late Reverend James W.C. Pennington, and the other is going to the late Reverend Alexander Crummell. So better late than never. But I think this is really important because this actually came out of the restorative justice work they're doing around Yale's slaveholding past is sort of what brought them here. And these activities are happening at a range of the colonial colleges across the country. And I'm really glad to see that something useful is coming out of it beyond just, the usual sort of solidarity statements or acknowledgements of the quote complicated past, right? Let's actually do something that is somehow useful, right? And I hope this brings some other things that will contribute to greater equity and inclusion on Yale's campus.
Yes. All right.
Yes, indeed. I always a fan of actions beyond statements and acknowledgements and things like that as well. Yeah. I'll go next.
Okay.
So I have, honestly, it's been a little hard for me to find the Black joy in some of the most recent news.
Yeah.
But there are some timeless Black things that have been giving me joy.
Okay.
For example, my first Black joy is the conversation I had with my partner Nadine briefly over text, where out of the blue, they messaged me, "Is a Goofy movie a Black classic?" To which my answer, from that Goofy movie came out when, like, during my childhood, and I remember the hype around it. I remember all that. But my simple answer was, yes, it is. And to anybody who would disagree, my answer is 2 words: Tevin Campbell. That's it. Tevin Campbell is like doing the soundtrack. What? The target audience is crystal clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on now. Goofy is every Black uncle I know who loves fishing. just more corny. Like, he's just a clumsier version of my father. Like, Tevin Campbell? Are you kidding me? Okay. Anyway, it's Black. And just remembering that brought me joy. Yeah. So shout out to the Afro-American classic film, A Goofy Movie.
Well, my first Black, but most of my Black joys are going to be in honor of my hometown, Washington, D.C.
Yay!
Where Chocolate City, where a whole bunch of wonderful, beautiful Black people live and thrive. And, I just want to shout this one out to my whole city, because we have been living in a very dark time these last few decades. And I feel like that time is finally coming to an end. I see the clouds parting. I see the sun rays beginning to break through those dark gray storm clouds, because finally, after 20-something long years, Daniel Snyder has finally sold the Washington football team.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
That racist, sexist, misogynist, evil monster.
Wow.
has finally sold the team, and now Chocolate City can rejoice.
Wow.
And perhaps we can enjoy rooting for our hometown team. Because
Maybe
we
Earth
are not
is healing.
because we are not supporting that racist man. Because being a Washington football team fan, I know they are the Commanders. It's still hard for me to say that. But it growing up and it's a very football centric town. The Nationals, the Capitals, the Wizards, God bless them. That's baseball, hockey, and basketball for you, Lee.
Thank you.
When they're doing well, that's wonderful. The Nats just won a World Series a few years ago. The Caps routinely make the playoffs. The less said about the Wizards, the better. But it's a football town, and that team has been controversial since its inception.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm just hoping that this can be a new chapter, a new page, that is turning, where we as football fans from Washington can finally be proud of our team. And root without reservations. we no longer have that terrible, terrible name. We no longer have that terrible, terrible owner. We can enjoy our game and root for our city in peace. So,
I love that for y'all.
That is what I pray for. And also, speaking of the NFL, there are some very interesting things that happened in the draft last night. The first round of the draft, all three of the quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round were all Black.
Hey, Pete.
Yeah.
Okay.
First pick, Bryce Young went to the Panthers, and CJ Stroud went to the Texans. He was the second pick, and Anthony Richardson was the fourth pick, and he went to, I think, the Lions or the Colts. I don't remember. And now Lamar Jackson from the Ravens is the highest paid player in the league. $260 million, 185 guaranteed. So,
woo.
I don't know, it feels like Black people are making moves in the NFL. I mean, the NFL. Don't get me started on the NFL, but but I just feel like that's hopefully a good thing for the residents of Chocolate City, and we can rejoice as we move into a brighter future. So that's my first Your Black Joy.
Yay!
Yay!
Wait, so was this dude part of the reason it took so long for the name to change?
Yes.
So that's him. Okay.
Oh yeah, no. Well, because I think aside from the Cowboys, the Washington football team former name was, I think, the second most profitable sports brand in the world. Yeah. So he was not changing that for love or money until they finally forced him to do it, because it was just too. It's tough to have end racism on every printed on every end zone in every stadium in the league, and then have that name. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the bad press was only going to build.
I mean,
like,
as if
get
that
in
wasn't
formation, girls. We're decolonizing. We're not.
I mean, as if that wasn't ironic enough after Colin Kaepernick and everything that happened with him. But yeah, no, it was bad. It was bad. It was dark.
Well, yeah, this is why I tell people not to watch or support or patronize any kind of sports ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed. Do you have a second one, Lee?
I do, and this is super interesting to people who don't know anything about whatever y'all were talking about just a few minutes ago.
You were noticeably quiet.
Y'all were like talking some weird foreign language. In 2005, the great Patrick Ian Polk gave the world Noah's Ark, which was a beautiful sitcom that lasted 2 seasons, exactly 18 episodes, and 1 movie about a group of 4 Black gay men in LA living their lives just being Black and gay. And it was a beautiful, funny, interesting, thoughtful show that came out at exactly the right moment in my life as I was sort of figuring out adulthood and negotiating lots of things relative to career and dating. And it was this wonderful show that, you know, it was on Logo, and I think people didn't really watch it, right? I have met so many people over the years who just kind of missed that almost blip on the radar because it happened so quickly, and the, you know, show, when it went off the air, I feel like it kind of disappeared, right? I don't think it was like picked up by anybody for second run syndication, and it wasn't available on streaming platforms for a really long time. So either you saw it, either you had the DVDs, or you kind of didn't know about it, right? And in a lot of ways, it was kind of this, you know, spin on like a Black gay young Golden Girls, and they covered a lot of topics that people weren't talking about 15, 17, 18 years ago, right? Trans rights, femophobia, all kinds of issues within the Black gay community, with ourselves. And it was like a really important show in you know, my development as an adult. There were some really extraordinary performances on it, not just from main cast members, but also you know, the guest stars who popped up from now and then, and especially Victoria Rowell, who had like a very interesting character arc on the 2nd season. But it was just a great show. I absolutely loved it. I have missed it. And there had been rumors throughout the pandemic, when every show that ever existed was getting a reboot, that Noah's Ark was coming back, and then it didn't. And then an announcement came out a couple of days ago from Patrick saying the show has been picked up again. They're bringing back the original cast, more new episodes, and you know, I'm really looking forward to how they take on some of these issues now that, you know, we've had a little bit of time with them, right? And hopefully, you know, America, and Black America specifically, has moved beyond some of the challenges relative to the gay community. So I'm just really excited that, you know, this show is coming back, because A, it was super funny, B, there were great fashions, C, the soundtrack was amazing, and D, representation absolutely matters. And I feel like we Black queer people are not represented in the media in positive ways. And it was just great to have the show that was for us, by us, but also accessible to anybody else who wanted to watch it. I literally made people at work watch it. Like I was like, we have to talk about this. So I need y'all to watch it. And then in staff meeting next week, we'll come back and talk about next week's episode. And dutifully they did it, because I guess they wanted to keep their jobs. But it was just a great show. So I'm super, super excited about that. And I hope everybody out there watches it. And I've been saying to Paige and Rocky for 2 years that we should do an episode on Noah's Ark. And I feel like I might get my wish finally.
Well, yeah, I mean, is it streaming anywhere now? Do you know?
Yeah, you can get it on iTunes.
Okay.
But I do want to warn you, it is a sitcom. It is fictional. And I know you don't like things that are documentaries.
Oh, yeah. I watched another fiction movie on my way back from New Orleans.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
What
I
did you
did.
watch?
I watched Tar.
You say like,
I mean, it was like fine, but it was like, eh.
I mean, it was barely fiction, if
right,
right.
classical music. So
I mean, and Kate Blanchett was great in it, but
yeah, I mean,
as a
she ain't no
movie, it
Angela
was just
Bassett, but she was fine, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, you know,
I wonder with Noah's Ark how many folks would be interested in an episode by episode watch of that.
I
So
know at least one who would
if
be
y'all
very
interested
in
in that kind of bonus content,
come on, Patreon.
holler.
Come on,
Holler.
Patreon.
Give
Okay.
feedback. I'm just saying. I would listen to us do that.
Oh, so
I mean, that sounds like a lot of fun. We maybe should just do it
does.
anyway.
yeah, we should.
Who cares what y'all think?
Straight from our program director.
I produce what I want.
Well, I have another PBJ. It is a new podcast that, new to me. The podcast isn't new to me podcast called Purse First. And
okay, I'm liking it already.
Right. And it is all about Black women, femme, gay, queer rappers. Yes, and it is like kind of conversational. There are, two hosts, Black queer woman. Her name is, I want to say, Cecily Bowen. She wrote the book Black Bad Fat Black Girl, memoirs of a trap feminist. I listened to it on audiobook. It is wonderful and just talks about her life through the lens of hip hop music, through her experience loving hip hop and rap as a Black woman. And I was excited when I heard about this podcast because I loved her work so much. And it's just cool to have people, talking about the rappers that they're listening to right now, the new music too, and like taking it seriously also. I feel like there are all kinds of radio shows and podcasts and stuff on hip hop and rap, but I haven't seen many that are focused. I don't know. I don't think I've seen a single one that was focused exclusively on like women, femmes, queer folks, and like really taking their projects seriously. And the drama and the gossip too, definitely talk about the headlines, definitely talking about the things that is going on with Nicki Minaj or Miss Ice Spice or whatever, and if you don't know who any of those people are, maybe listen to the podcast, So I'm just really enjoying it, and I'm really glad something like that exists, because I am one who loves listening to the new rap girls, the older rap girls, all of it. I am especially into listening to, the hip hop that's from queer folks, that's from trans folks, that's from Black women. A lot of the time it's more interesting, if we're being real. A lot of the time it's just straight up better, but
that's why we're doing this show.
Yeah. So get into it. Purse First. Yeah, I'm loving it.
Purse First. Yeah, cheat on us with another podcast. Purse First. Go for it.
Absolutely. Shoot, I want to reach out. And be like, what crossover? Huh?
Maybe. Oh, that would be fun, actually.
That would be amazing.
That would be super fun.
Yeah.
Ooh, we should make that happen. All right. Sounds good. For my last PB&J, so our conversation with Julia Bullock, what has really like stayed with me from that conversation is this idea of stepping into new spaces, whether those spaces are external or you're opening up a new space inside of yourself in order to heal and grow and fully create. And so I just want to shout out a lady in DC named Angel Gregorio, who is the owner and proprietor of a store called the Spice Suite, which is a specialty seasoning store But she's also used the space to create over 400 pop-ups for Black-owned businesses that are starting out. And what she's been able to do, thanks to the DC Commercial Property Assistance or Acquisition Fund, rather, she's been able to get a grant to buy a whole shopping center that she's calling Black and Forth.
I love that.
Right?
I love it.
And is renting
Yes.
to Black-owned businesses so that they have like a brick and mortar place to sell their wares and be a part of the community. And it's all part of a local goal to increase the share of Black-owned businesses in DC to 33% by 2028. And so I just think that's so cool. Like you went and you bought a whole shopping center so that we could thrive.
Yes.
Like I don't know, it's so cool, and gave it like such a dope name, Black and Forth. That's amazing. So.
Right.
I just read that and I cackled and I was like, that's good.
Yeah, if I didn't know anything about that place, I would go in there.
Yeah.
I'm just off the name alone. I
mean, I'm
have
just
to check
saying.
it out.
Black and Forth.
Right. It markets itself.
It really does. It really does. So shout out to Angel, because that's dope. That's awesome. And we'll put some links in so you can read more about all of these things.
Wait,
that
everybody.
I
have one more.
Oh, you do? Oh, I thought
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. And
No,
this
please
is
go.
the most important one.
Oh.
So this is nice and close to home. Ensemble Pie, a group that I follow closely here in New York. They work in the contemporary classical music space. They have released an album. It is out today. So by the time y'all are listening to this, it will be extra out and available everywhere you can listen to albums. It's called Reparations Now. I will say that title again because I want you to know what it is. Reparations Now by Ensemble Pie. It's a really great album. There's a lot of excellent new music on there from Angelica Negron. We're going to have to do a little bit of editing because my mind just went blank. Hold on. I'll do it. Angelica Negron, Allison Loggins, and Damian Norfleet, who lives at my house and also performs on the album, as well as Trevor Weston, who was a guest on our show last season. So super excited about the album. Congratulations to the entire ensemble, particularly Edith Corman, who is the artistic director of the group, and a big congratulations. So yeah, and if you are a Grammy voter, you should extra listen, buy a copy, and remember how much you loved it when voting opens in a few months.
Ensemble Pie.
Yes.
Yes. Hot and fresh out the kitchen. All right. Well, this was fun.
I think so.
It was.
Yes. And before we wrap up, I just want to say, I told that Dookie Chase story because it was fun and funny. Please don't go down to Dookie Chase and bother those nice people if you don't have a reservation. I don't want them to cuss me out.
Miss Candy would wear you out.
I mean,
yeah. Y'all be nice to Miss Candy too.
Please be nice to Miss Candy, Miss Keisha, all of them, and Big Sag Energy. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay, so I think that's it for the show. Thank you all so much for joining us. We hope that our wonderful guest gets better soon and that we are able to have them on the show. But we've got a fabulous guest coming up for you next time. Please subscribe and share this with all of your little friends. and leave us a review.
Yes.
5 stars, please.
5 stars.
It really helps us out. I don't think you all understand how much that actually helps us out.
Yeah.
Like, do you want us to succeed? Or I mean, you've been like sitting here listening to us for like an hour and a half and you don't have anything to say on Apple Podcasts about it? Positive? I don't care about the negative. Because if you've been sitting here for an hour and a half, like listening to us and you're like, I don't like this, why are you here? But if you were enjoying this conversation, just leave a little, I mean, it could be one word. It could just be like perfection.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If you are listening to this right now, I want you to go to Apple Podcasts. I want you to click 5 stars and just write the word perfection, period. Or exclamation point, or ellipsis. You can choose the punctuation, not a question mark, but anything else. All right. And if we can get all of you to do that, then we'll be in good shape.
We'll be in great shape.
Yes. That's the score challenge. Yes.
How'd you give it homework?
Yes. Did you participate in the score challenge? I'm watching you. You call yourself a scorekeeper? Okay. Anyway, any words of wisdom? Don't do that, Rocky.
Do as I say and not as I do. I kind of like that.
Yeah. It's kind of how I live my life, isn't it? All right. And with that, we will be back in 2 weeks, hopefully with the amazing Morgan Paige Melbourne. Crossing our fingers that nothing happens to them in the next 2 weeks. And we will see you then. Bye, everybody.
Bye.